Big Ten with another big flop. Mark Rogers TV with instant analysis of the Outback Bowl with Florida trouncing Iowa 30-3. So this one started out with two really good defenses taking on two anemic offenses, or at least the Gators came in with an anemic offense and showed us that they had a little bit of spark in the second half. But early on, it was the defenses dominating. Iowa with two interceptions because on both plays, they got great push from the front seven and got into the face of Austin Appleby, caused interceptions, one by Brandon Snyder when the defensive end made a batted ball attempt and made a great play and backing off the line of scrimmage. And the second one, a great play by Desmond King off the deflection. But Iowa could do nothing with either opportunity. Actually, the Desmond King was deep enough in Florida territory that the Hawkeyes got out to a 3-0 lead, and that was it for the scoring for the Hawkeyes for the day. Two interceptions, one field goal, nothing else. Antonio Callaway caught a deep post. Austin Appleby delivering the football pretty well when he wasn't harassed by a really good Iowa front seven. Appleby played rather well, I thought. 14 of 25, 222. The two interceptions, deflected passes, not necessarily his fault. One was a poor throw. The other one he couldn't do anything about, but did not throw interceptions right to the defenders. Picks 14 of 25 for 222. Callaway gets the big play down the middle for 34 yards. Florida shows a little bit of life. They get the field goal 3-3. Okay, biggest situation in this game, biggest was when Iowa put together a drive. So Iowa did run the ball. They did average, even with sack yardage included, per carry. Akram Wadley had some exceptional runs. And when they got the drives going, they ripped off some exceptional runs in the ground game between the tackles and to the outside. Wadley had a nice game, 22 carries for 115 yards. Iowa got in position, and even at 3rd and 14, C.J. Beathard ripped off a beautiful throw to the tight end George Kittle for 18 yards on 3rd and 14 to the Florida 10. Beathard then made a 6-yard run down to the inch-yard line. The replay showed that he was called down, but the replay showed that it could have been called a touchdown, but it definitely wasn't enough evidence to give the Hawkeyes the score. So they get shut down, though, on 4th down, and Iowa came within that much of scoring, and it was still a 3-3 football game, and Iowa's best chance was its last chance, and that was that. All right, the big turning point in addition to that was what the Hawkeye defense failed to do with that. So with the defenses playing so well, you would think, okay, well, they didn't score, but they've got them pinned at the 1. But no, Jordan Scarlett got loose for 9, then he got loose for 46. And the Hawkeye defense stiffened and backed him out of field goal range, but it flipped the field. So the next possession, Florida gets the football, and Chris Thompson made a great play on a screen pass. He broke 5 Iowa tackles or would-be tackles and ripped it off for 85 yards in the touchdown that really, in the aftermath, proved to be the game winner at 10-3. It's a 17-3 game, or it's 10-3 at half. It's 17-3 later because the Gators put together another drive and they get the touchdown. DeAndre Goolsby cuts loose on a 3rd down. Appleby scrambles, buys himself just enough time to complete the play for the touchdown, and Florida goes up at that point 17-3. And then at that point, Iowa's in some kind of strange offensive mode where they're continuing to run the ball even down when it got to 24-3. But then at times they put themselves in 3rd and longs constantly, even though they were running the ball fairly well when the game was competitive. And C.J. Beathard was just getting pounded. He was hurt. He should have been taken out of the game earlier. Quarterback, gutty player who finishes his career at 21 wins and 7 losses. Best record for a quarterback in Iowa history. But just a brutal stat line. But probably he's hurting more physically after a beating by the Florida Gator defense. Got 3 times in the second half. One a pick 6 by Chauncey Gardner to make it 24-3, and that was obviously the last nail in the coffin that needed to be nailed. There would be a couple more, and Gardner would have another almost pick 6. He intercepted another pass and brought it back to the 5-yard line, and the Gators got a couple field goals late to make it 30-3 Jordan Scarlett, 14 carries for 94 yards. So this almost looked like the Ohio State-Clemson game. The Buckeyes get a couple turnovers. Well, they got one. Iowa got two early. They couldn't convert, couldn't move the ball offensively. The defense played really well. Ohio State's probably better than Iowa, but Iowa's offense or defense played very well. They had room. The one thing that Iowa did, Ohio State couldn't against Clemson, was they ran the ball. No explosive plays for Iowa. That's usually the difference between Iowa, an 8 or 9 win team, and getting to the top 15 status in college football. No explosive plays or players on the offensive side. Very good front sevens, good offensive line, although the offensive line on both sides ravaged by injuries this year. Consider that Florida, typically anemic on offense, still ripped off 5 plays of plus 20 yards. Iowa had 1. Akron Wadley for 27 yards. CJ Beathard, 7 of 23 for 55 yards, 3 picks. And most of that not his fault until late in the game when he was just winging it downfield, and that's what you need to do in that situation. We mentioned Scarlett's line, and Florida wins at 30-3 and make amends for a lame showing down the stretch against the likes of Florida State and Alabama. This time, a team that they can handle in the Hawkeyes. Iowa finishes 8-5. They finish well down the stretch, but man, this is not the game we expected. We expected a close one, and Florida blew them out because of more explosive players on offense. Need to hear from you on the plight of the Big Ten, Iowa, Florida, right here on Mark Rogers TV.